This here is a Zach's Tech Turf gaming PC. Zach is a fellow content creator friend of mine. Definitely check him out if you haven't seen his stuff. He's a cool dude that makes PC content as well. So he made a video secretly buying a PC build from other content creator friends of ours, the Toasty Bros. They have a PC building company called the PC Bros. And in that video, he reviewed the PC, praising them where necessary.
There was a significant amount of extra room in the outer box with a ton of packaging material in here, and you definitely love to see it. This is as good of cable management that it can honestly get. Not only is the back obnoxiously clean and visual appealing, but even the front looks perfect as well.
But also pointing out things that he didn't like about it.
I definitely don't agree with their tactic of putting absolutely every single item on a quote-unquote sale. Everybody on the internet under the age of like 50 knows that this is just a scummy move. This specific power supply is on the tier E list, aka the avoid at all cost list, and you should absolutely never use this unit in a gaming PC.
Some people in the comments had an issue with Zach's presentation because while he was criticizing the PC Bros PC, he was also advertising his own website where he sells PCs himself.
If you're actually looking to spend some money on a gaming PC pre-built, then I would definitely recommend checking out our next website launch at zackstechturf.com. Every single one of them is going to completely trump the price or performance of this build.
So some people thought it was done in poor taste, saying that he was bashing on other fellow content creator services while talking up his own. I'm not gonna get into all that though, because we're all friends here, and the Toasty Bros were very receptive to his criticism, so that was good to see. But in this video, we're gonna see how Zach's PC fares. We've seen Zach talk the talk when it comes to what other sellers offer, but let's see if he can walk the walk when it comes to what he offers. So I bought this PC completely undercover. I had my good friend Jan, aka Mankarty, buy it and shipped it to my parents' house, which is multiple towns over. So all names and addresses associated with this order should have been pretty difficult to trace back to me. Zach had this listed on his website for $350, and here are the specs. It's pretty solid given the price. It's got a Ryzen 3 3200G in it, which is fine given how inexpensive the system is. It's got a B450 motherboard, which is nice because it has a good potential for upgrading in the future. 16GB of RAM, an RX 560. It's got a 550 watt power supply in it, 500GB SSD, which is really nice to see. The build is aesthetically pleasing with how it was set up, like with the fan and RAM LEDs and the cable extensions. Windows 10 is included too, so all in all, $350 is a really good price for a system like this that's pre-assembled and set up with Windows ready to go out of the box. Something else that Zach also does for these listings is he often gives a YouTube link to the video of that exact build if it was built for a video on his channel. So not only can you go to the video to see how the parts are broken down by price, but you can see the actual benchmarks for them as well, which is really nice for the customers. Cross-checking a few of his listings, I can say that most of his builds are priced really fair with regards to the baseline price of them. He's actually giving really good deals for a lot of his builds. Now, like I said, $350 is a pretty good price for a system like this. But that's not what I spent for it, and this is where my first piece of constructive criticism is going to come in. I actually spent $456.85 because when I added this to my cart and I went to check out, the shipping cost a whopping $106.85. Shipping for this was nearly 1/3 of the cost of the system, and I know it could have been shipped for cheaper. Now, to be fair, this was shipped from Pennsylvania to Washington State, which is a far distance. It's East Coast to West Coast, but even then, there should be cheaper options. Zach only offered one shipping option from what I saw, USPS, which from my experience is usually the most expensive option for larger packages like this. Now, I'm pretty sure Zach knows about services like Pirate Ship because he mentioned it in the video about the Toasty Bros PC.
This was the very first time that the PC was damaged from shipping. Just for some quick information on that, our shipping insurance claim through Pirate Ship got accepted.
Pirate Ship is a way to get discounted shipping because they operate on such a large scale that they are able to get better rates than either you or I can as individuals. Looking at Pirate Ship, the 4 to 5 day UPS ground option was only $34.55 using the exact same addresses, which is over $70 in savings. Pirate Ship actually didn't have the exact shipping option that Zach used. He used the 2-day priority, but they did have other ones that were a bit cheaper at around $70 or $80 through USPS. And when I went over to the official USPS website as an individual, putting in the same addresses, I was able to find the 2-day option that he had used for the exact $106.85 amount. So it looks like Zach used a typical rate with no discount, but I'm trying to figure out why. In my opinion, 2-day priority is not worth spending an extra $70 for compared to waiting a couple more days. I cross-checked other systems that he had for sale on his website, and this was pretty much the pricing across the board. They were all a bit over $100 to ship, and they varied a little bit, likely due to the slight differences in weight or dimensions. There may have been a reason why Zach only offered USPS. Maybe he has the best track record with them in terms of like not damaging or losing his packages compared to UPS and FedEx. But for me personally, I've used all three of them to ship out all types of things over the years, full builds included, and they can all be potentially bad when it comes to delays, packages coming beat up. So I personally don't think it's worth paying that premium for one service over the other. I think that's something that the customer should be able to decide. Do they want to spend the extra money going with a specific service, or do they just want the lowest cost option? I'm curious to hear Zach's response to this and anything else that's brought up in this video, which I will be pinning in the comments just as he did for the Toasty Bros. If we look under his frequently asked questions, there is no warranty on the system being sold outside of the manufacturer's warranty, which for a system like what I bought may all be expired, especially with the older hardware that's in it. Now, I'm not going to knock Zach for doing this because he is offering super cheap prices on his systems, and it can get overwhelming once you have like hundreds of systems out in the wild. Customer support is difficult to support on a large scale. So with his PCs, he's treating it more like a Craigslist or an OfferUp deal. Once the item is in your possession and you've handed the money over, whatever happens to it long term anyways is on you. Not really a praise or criticism here, just something worth pointing out. Okay, sorry for the pricing discussion taking a while. I just get carried away when it comes to stuff like that. But now let's take a look at the PC itself, starting with the packaging. I'm going to use a secondary camera so I can get a closer up view of this as well. So taking a look at the box overall, we do see the case that the PC was built in. So the original box for the case was used. Just taking a look inside here, it looks like it was just single box. In my opinion, single box is okay. Double box will of course always be better because of the extra layers of protection, but doing double boxing also costs more because of the added materials, slightly added weight, and then the larger dimensions from that second box. I've shipped out PCs and have seen many PCs shipped in just a single box, like the case that it came in, and with no issues. So yeah, I don't have any problems with this being single box. I also want to give Zach props for using corner protectors on this box because this is an added above and beyond step that he did. I don't often see PCs shipped out with this. I've never done it. But the only thing that I noticed was, so there's 8 corners on the box, but we are missing a corner protector here, one corner protector here, and there is a missing corner protector on the back side here. So I'm not gonna ding Zach too much for that because even if all the corner protectors fell off, it would be like how most people ship their PCs anyways. Just a heads up for Zach, I would put a little bit more tape on here because as you can see, the tape line barely goes past the plastic. So if you're gonna go ahead and put in the effort to buy these corner protectors and to tape them on, we hate to see them fall off during shipping. So yeah, Zach, add a little more tape and it'll ensure that they get to their destination all intact. We've also got fragile stickers all over the box, so we do have it on all the sides here. Got it on the back there, as well as the top. No fragile sticker on the bottom, but that is reasonable. Going back to what I was talking about from the other shipping services though, like I don't know if Zach used USPS purposefully because of like better quality, but we do see a pretty big hole on the side of the box here, as well as a little hole here in terms of like package damage. That's pretty much it though. Like I said, all the shipping services can lose your packages or delay them or, you know, make them come beat up. So again, I don't really value the premium that was paid for USPS over something like UPS. And then this is kind of one example of it. I don't think this is a big deal because I'm pretty sure the PC made it safe. So let's actually get this opened up now. So the first thing we do see at the top of the box is a ZTT quick start guide thanking the customer for their business, and he asked for them to do things like don't rip up all the packaging into shreds, keep everything just in case if you need to send it back. He tells them to give an in-depth visual inspection to ensure that there's no damage. If there is any damage, then take as many pictures as possible and then email the support team. He also notes to not try to troubleshoot or fix anything yourself without emailing them first, because if you don't know what you're doing, you could mess it up and then the refund could be ineligible. So it's good that he spells that out here. And then he gives a tip that we often see: make sure to plug the display cable into the graphics card and not the motherboard. So it's good that he spells it out there, internet connectivity. And it looks like he actually, yeah, this doesn't look like just a photocopy. It looks like he signed this himself. So for the people who really enjoy Zach's content, to get something handwritten from him, that's pretty nice. So that's all good there. Let's get this out of the box now. So for the inside, the packaging of it, we do have the nicer, like, thicker bubble wrap. And then it's just the standard styrofoam that came with, you know, the case. Oops, and something just dropped out there. A Ziploc bag of stuff. Power cables, extra power supply cables, the Wi-Fi antennas in here, as well as a hard drive bracket. Alright, so in terms of the foam itself, we did get a pretty big chunk of it broken off here. I don't know if this happened on Zach's side or during transit, but this was still sitting in the foam, so I don't think the PC would have been damaged due to that. Oh, actually, both of these pieces broke off pretty much. So these were both kind of hanging by a thread or just completely detached. So I'm just going to put these in here and follow Zach's instructions, keeping it just in case I need to return it. Alright, so this case has like a hinge-like door, so I believe we can just pull it off like this to take off the tempered glass panel. Inside, we do have more of this bubble wrap, as well as Instapack foam. So it looks like Zach used 2 packs. So let me try to pull this out, make sure I don't bend anything inside there. The second one is around the GPU, so I need to try to pull it out straight, make sure nothing gets caught. It feels like something is caught here. Oh, it's the power cable for the graphics card, the extensions. So here it is. Alright, taking a quick look in the main chamber of this system. So cable management for the most part looks good. Some stuff popping through the grommet here, but that's fine. Just giving everything a wiggle around here, making sure nothing disconnected. But it looks like everything made it here safely. For the front side, I would say it looks very clean. I wouldn't have really changed too much with regards to the cable management and cable routing. Here's underneath the graphics card with all the front panel I/O stuff, and that all looks good. So let's get this turned around and we'll take a look at the back side in terms of cable management. Alright, in terms of the cable management back here, so for this case, there's not really much going on in terms of like routing channels or stuff like that. It's just kind of a bare back. Yeah, there's not too much. There's some tie down points, but nothing like some of the more premium cases, which actually has like plastic brackets to run the cables through. So in terms of cable management, it's a little bit messy down here. I think this could have gone under the Velcro, and I think some of these could be bundled up a little bit nicer, but this is on the backside. This affects performance in like 0 ways at all. The PC can still function just fine. This is just more like, oh, if somebody wanted to add in a hard drive or maybe like a 2.5-inch drive here or something like that, this cable management is, you know, it'll take a little bit longer to kind of move out of the way and undo to get those installed. But overall, no huge issues there, just could be a little cleaner on the cable management. So now what I need to do is get this PC fired up, and I'm gonna get my stuff set up so I can do that, and we'll get into Windows, throw a couple of stress tests on here to make sure that the thermals are okay and nothing is wrong, like the system doesn't crash or anything like that. So let me get my monitor, keyboard, and mouse and all that set up. Alright, so we're set up here, and now let's hit the power button. And the PC turns right on, LEDs are fired up. Alright, so looking at the desktop right when we get into Windows, we do have Google Chrome here, which I always install first anyways, and then there's Steam, which I also pre-install. Here's iQ from Corsair, which is to control that Dominator LED RAM. There is a little, if you have questions dock here. So this is pretty similar to the other letter that we physically got, thanking us for buying the build, as well as here's the specs of the PC, which it says Windows 10 is activated. So let's check that out. We can see that it is activated with a digital license. So we're good there. Taking a look at the PC specs, we can also confirm that we do have the Ryzen 3 3200G in here, as well as 16 gigabytes of RAM. Alright, so let's take a quick look at bloatware, if there is any. Just scrolling through, I'm not seeing anything aside from like Corsair IQ, and then Chrome, but everything else looks pretty much like what stock Microsoft has. No antivirus or any of the other stuff. So yeah, that's good to see. So I took another glance at his quick start guide that is included, and I am seeing, and I missed this earlier, please excuse the lack of professionalism, super clean cable management, in-depth warranties, and non-instant support responses, as it's just me and one other employee, Sam, running this operation right now. We do hope that you enjoy this build. So yeah, Zach is well aware that the cable management isn't the best, and that he doesn't offer like long warranties and stuff like that. I do understand where he's coming from. Small business, small team, but people who are buying these PCs, they should be, you know, very aware of this fact. So now what I'm going to do is get a few programs to put on this PC, like MSI Afterburner. I'll get Furmark as well as Cinebench, so that we have something that can stress the CPU and the GPU, and then monitor the temps to make sure no crashes, as well as temps are in check. Alright, so we do have the programs running now. We have Cinebench, it is running in the background, running the stability test, so it's just going to go for 30 minutes straight. As well as Furmark running in the foreground here. I have this cranked up to like 8 times anti-aliasing, so it is putting a lot of load on the graphics card. So yeah, you can see right there, 69 degrees C, nice, on the CPU, but 100% load on the CPU, 100% load on the GPU, and we can monitor the temperatures here. So system's being loaded up quite a bit. I'm just gonna let this run for a little bit longer, see where the temperatures stabilize at, and then yeah, that's pretty much it for testing if this is good to go out of the box. Alright, so the system has been running for a while now, and the temperatures aren't really getting above 70, the low 70s for both the GPU and CPUs. And this is under pretty much the worst case scenario load. Anytime you're gaming or doing anything else, it should not be loading the system as much as this. The system is pretty quiet. The fan noise is pretty minimal, so it's stable enough for me. Let's wrap up this video. When it comes to the assembly quality, this system, and I'm sure many of Zach's systems that he sells, are top notch, minus a little bit of a messy cable management, but that's all on the backside, so I'm not going to be too much of a stickler on that. Price-wise though, like I said, many of his builds on his website when he does his monthly drops are priced really well and are great deals, and I can easily recommend them to basically anyone, especially, you know, the higher priced one where the shipping cost becomes a smaller fraction relative to the entire cost. Like say like a $1,000+ system, he's pricing them well enough that even with the $100 shipping tacked on top of it, it could still be a really good deal. It's just when you start getting into the lower cost builds like this one that the shipping cost can really start to hurt depending on where it's being shipped to, especially for the people who don't have that much money to spend. But yeah, I do look forward to Zach watching this video and responding to see if he will offer lower cost options in the future for shipping, and just his overall thoughts in this video. Hope you all enjoyed though and found this either helpful or entertaining in one way or another. Let me know down in the comments below your thoughts on how my assessment was. Was I fair or unfair in any portion of this? I want to thank you all as always for watching and for continuing to support the channel, and of course give a shout out to all the channel members for their above and beyond support. Stay safe out there, and I will see y'all down in the comments as well as in the next stream and or video. Bye.